At this time of year, the under canopy is lit up by all these Hazel Catkins, but I didn't realise they were edible. Not only that, but they are a source of protein, and protein in the winter. There's no, or very few fungus. There's no nuts unless you stored any, and to have a source of protein in the spring is amazing. And there's so much of it as well. The catkins are the male flowers, and they release pollen, which is transmitted by the air. The female flowers are a bit more difficult to find. There's one right in the center of the picture there. Just little feathery thing, hardly visible, but they seem to just appear randomly on the twigs. Hazel trees are very, very common. Um, there is every other tree in the under canopy is a hazel tree. There's no conservation issue at all in collecting hazel catkins, but also when you pick them, you're releasing pollen. Some of the pollen shakes off into the air, and that drifts through the air and pollinates some of the female flowers. So, and there's no way you could like reach every single catkin. So, I don't take them all off one tree, but I just take a few off each tree, and that's fine, yeah. But a source of protein at this time of year is very incredible. I've heard all the catkins are edible too, but a lot of people say they don't taste very nice. And the alder tree isn't anything like as edible as the hazel tree is. After all, the hazel tree has another protein crop in the autumn with the hazel nuts. So a tree that produces two protein crops in a year is amazing. You could just see the yellow of hazel catkins right through the under canopy. Hazel trees are always very easy to identify because they always grow with all the branches coming out from the base. Like here. Here's another one. You see all of the branches growing from the base, and the branches can get quite long, but they always throw up new ones from the base. And here's another one. They also seed themselves a lot. Here's a sort of baby one that seeded itself. One of the ways so many hazelnuts are successful is because their squirrels bury them and they forget where they put half of them. And then these ones grow, so they always spread very well through the forest floor or through hedgerows, and they're a very sort of successful plant. Um, if you wanted to collect the nuts, it's best to do so as soon as they separate from the outer casing, and that means they're ripe inside even though they are still a bit green. You don't want to do it before that because they're not fully formed yet, but if they separate from the outer casing easily, then they're ready, and you want to sort of get them really straight away before the squirrels get them. So you can have a few cultivated varieties of hazelnut, so they're a very good source of protein. They store well. Once dry, they can be stored in a jar for ages. So now you have the two forms of protein from the hazel tree. That is really amazing. As well as this, the leaves and the bark are also edible, and various different parts of the plant have various medicinal uses, including anti-inflammatory, wound healing, and fever getting rid of. Loads of things actually. So it's a very, very useful tree, the hazel tree. So I'm going to collect a few and try out some drying methods, I think. Um, got a little bag. One method said to dry them out slowly in the oven on a really, really like low temperature, or in a one of those dryer things. Um, and the other one said to put like some greaseproof paper on a baking tray and a little bit of oil and slowly roast them. So, I don't know. Maybe try those. Um, there's no reason to take too many from one tree, but when I pick them, I give them a nice shake. Um, to see a female flower, um, I suppose you could just go like that over it, but I suppose that's the same tree, so that wouldn't work. But yeah, just shaking them, the pollen drifts off into the air and should fertilise some other trees. But there's really no shortage, and you could only really reach the few that are lower anyway. But one tree provides way more than I'm likely to need. and there's just millions on this one tree. So just get like a little bag, just my little, to try this out. And you can sprinkle them on things like muesli. They tasted all right raw. Um, when I was reading up about them this morning, they said they tasted a bit weird raw, so I was sort of expecting that. They taste a bit strange, but they're sort of okay. I think they'd be better dried, but they'd be good survival food. These are very easy to collect, um, and it's the pollen that has the protein. So I presume that if you pick them when they're just coming out, then they probably haven't released too much of their protein yet. And probably the more they've released, the chewier and more unpleasant they become. Most edible things are nicer when they first appear rather than when they've been there a while. I've noticed quite a few creepy crawlies on the catkins as well. So, having a look at them and uh, pick off the old creepy crawly. But I guess that shows that hazel trees attract a lot of wildlife. They are extremely easy to pick. You can just get tons of them. Wonder what they dry down to. It's just really, really easy sort of compared to kind of picking mushrooms or collecting nuts and everything. This is just really, really easy. I think I've got enough for today, so I'm going to take these home and try this out. I hope you liked I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you press the little me down there somewhere, you can see all my other videos. And I shall see you next time.